Hey everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Yo, host the Hut, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut. Hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. Well, we got spring training. This is terrific. This is wonderful. This is great. We waited all winter. It didn't seem like such a long winter, I gotta say. Some winters can be longer than others, but this didn't seem that long. But we get into all these different storylines. To me, the most exciting part of the spring training is two things. One, seeing Juan Soto walking into camp, and he'll be coming into camp this week, and we'll see pictures of him with Francisco Lindor and all the other guys in camp. And that'll be fun to watch. Obviously, he's the big fish, the big player that was signed this offseason. The Mets were very lucky to get him. Initially, it didn't seem like they were going to get him. They were told that they were last. They went from last to first to best. And they are the best. They are America's team. Never forget that. Make the Mets great again. And that's what we're watching unfold before our eyes. And him coming into camp is a good sign. It's a big sign that the Mets mean business now. And they've been meaning business for quite a few years now. This was the big signing that they would build this team around. I think I mentioned this here and there, that when the Mets did not sign Alex Rodriguez, that was a missed opportunity for them to sort of continue on a very strong pace that they were in the late 90s, early 2000s. They had Mike Piazza. He was getting older after the 2000 season. It seemed very appropriate that they sign Alex the following offseason. It would have set them up really good for 2001, and they didn't do that. Now we're in a situation where we have Lindor, who's 31, and Pete Alonso's 30, and who knows if he's going to be back next year. That's not important right now. But this sets the team up with a young player, and he was 26 years old, was exactly the same age that A-Rod was when he was a free agent, and that's sort of a strange kind of way to connect both eras. Now, as Lindor gets older, Soto will be in his prime. So that's something that Mets did a very smart thing this time. Obviously different ownership than what the Mets had 25 years ago, but that's something to keep in mind. Another thing I'm looking forward to is Pete Alonso coming into camp. Because the Mets have not announced him being re-signed here yet. But that is going to be fun to see him walk into camp and talk to the media. And all the fans are happy, except for a few naysayers. Everyone's happy that Pete's back. Because now the Mets have a big-time lineup. And I want him batting cleanup on this team. My ideal lineup, folks, is leadoff hitter is pretty obvious now. It's Francisco Lindor. You leave him there. That's his spot. You could put Vientos at second, or Brandon Nimmo second, whichever, what team you're going up against, right-handed, left-hander. And whoever bats in front of Soto is going to get a lot of pitches. Soto bats third, and Pete bats cleanup, and then you can kind of play off the five-hitter, either be Nimmo or Vientos. I've been very much an advocate of Nimmo being more in the middle of the lineup now as we go further into his career, because I don't think really his numbers don't tell me, and his performance with the power. He drove almost 90 runs last year. He drove 90 runs? You believe he drove 90 runs last year. So he is at that level now that he could be a run producer in the middle of your lineup. He's no longer really a leadoff hitter or a table setter like he was. Hit 24 home runs. It's a good spot for him. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. Soto's going to be on a lot. So he's in a very interesting position to really do well. And the bottom lineup, I think, is going to be okay. The biggest thing is Alvarez. If Francisco Alvarez takes a step forward offensively, the Mets will be in great shape as a lineup. All right, now here's SNY's 5 Mets storylines to watch as 2025 spring training starts. The second base situation and Brandon Sprout's first big league camp are among the things to keep an eye on. We'll skip a little bit. I already gave you my preamble. What's the plan at second base? Before the Mets and Alonso reunited, the corner infield spots were in flux. The plan was for Mark Vientos to shift from third to first, with Brett Beatty, Luis Angel Acuna, and Ryan Mauricio competing for time at third base, and Jeff McNeil to likely answer second base. Now that Alonso's back, things are much more crowded at second. McNeil feels like the opening day starter there, and despite 2 consecutive down campaigns to play for him after winning the batting title in 2022, there's reason for optimism. Now, the word is from camp that he's really dedicated to have a big season. We'll see. And he had a very good second half. But it's a very peculiar thing with him. Because in my view, he's not a power hitter. There's no reason for his bat-to-ball skills and his ability to hit for average should be deteriorated. A very strange thing. But a couple of things about some of the other players here. Beatty, Mauricio, and Acuna. Mauricio's not going to be ready for the opening day. He's not going to be ready for opening day. Just due to the fact that he's been hurt. He's just getting on the field now. He might not be ready to play in any kind of games until April. That's any games. I don't know how much he's going to play in spring training. Brett Beatty. I don't think he's really a second baseman. And with Pete Alonso coming back, I don't know what his role was here. And Luis Angel Acuna is a player that he's probably the backup shortstop on this team. As this team, the 4-man roster is constituted. I don't think Nick Madrigal is that. So what's the deal with him? I think he could be a very good player. I think Acuna and Mauricio could be very good players. They hit the ball really hard, but that is really the question with those two in particular. Where are they going to play? Are they going to play here? Are they going to be AAA? It's tough, and I would mention, don't take Vientos off the third. And Mauricio has great potential with his power. His ability to hit the ball extremely hard is very good, but he doesn't get on base a lot. That's been his reputation in the minor leagues. He does strike out a bit. Acuna's a little bit different. He's probably more athletic than Mauricio. Although I was very impressed with Mauricio's speed. We'll see how his knee is going into the season. Starlin Marte. What are the Mets doing with Starlin Marte? We talked about him yesterday. Are the Mets going to deal him? What are we going to expect from him? He's not going to be an everyday player anymore. He's not playing right field. He's not playing left field. Is he just going to be a role player? I guess. And he was slightly above average offensively last year. So what do we expect from him? And a couple of things. Somebody wrote to me earlier that the Mets should not have made the trade for Jose Siri, and it should just put Acuna in center field. You cannot do that. When you have Juan Soto, who's not a very good outfielder, we know that. He's going to be in left field eventually. And Brandon Nimmo, who he's done a great job working hard and being a good outfielder, but his future is as a DH. It is very difficult to put a young player in center field and think that you're going to win. And we know with David Stearns, he wants to have a team that can really play good defense, specifically in center field. He doesn't care if the guy doesn't hit. He didn't care that Bader was struggling down the stretch last year. Now, Siri will make great highlight plays. He'll hit home runs, but he doesn't hit high average, and he strikes out. I know a lot of people have been going crazy about all these different highlights of him and winter ball. Relax. Relax. You're going to be very frustrated with him as a player. There's something interesting. They mentioned Brandon Sprout. His first time in big league camp. Let me actually read just part of what they say here. The Mets opening day starting rotation is almost certainly set, and the pitchers who will be battling to be the potential sixth starter, Paul Blackburn, Tyler McGill, and Griffin Canning, do not include Sprout, a 24-year-old flamethrower with massive upside. Now, back Griffin Canning, they signed him on a not a minor deal, a contract. He's going to be on this team unless he falls on his face. He's an interesting player because the thought is that people within the Mets organization, from what I've heard, think that he could be a really good pitcher. I mean, a number one pitcher because of his stuff. And he did not have the pitching lab there in Anaheim. Who knows? I'm not too high on Paul Blackburn. I saw enough of him. I'm not too big on him. But along with Bruce Possible, fellow pitching prospect Nolan McLean, who should begin the year at Binghamton, also makes his big league debut this season. Well, I was pushing it with him. He's what is called a two-way player when the Mets signed him out of Oklahoma. But he's not ready yet. His floor is to be he could be a closer because he does really hard, but his ceiling could be that of a number 3 starter at best. So he is an interesting player. And I would mention about Sprout. Go back to him. He could be a number 2 starter. From what I've read and things, that could be his ceiling. He could be a 4th starter at his floor. So there's a little bit of a difference. He might not be an ace. Now, I would also mention this. David Stearns, when he was with the what the hell team was he on? The Brewers. The Brewers was very much into developing his own aces. He developed Corbin Burns. He's very much willing to develop his own closers. So he's not really into bringing in veteran pitchers to be an ace. It's not an 8-year deal. So they're going to work very hard to get the most value out of their minor league pitching. And that's something to keep an eye on. Also keep an eye on with the bullpen. Keep an eye on somebody who might emerge as the future closer of this team. Who that might be could be Daniel Nunez. It could be somebody in the minor league system. And I bring that up because Edwin Diaz has an opt-out after this season. And if he has a big year, he's going to opt out. And if you think that David Stearns is going to sign him to a massive deal, like Billy Epler did for him, that's not going to happen. He will let him walk. But that's, 8-9 months from now. Really, 9 months from now. So that's not really that's on the back burner. But this is what we have to watch now. I'm very excited. You should be excited. And of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. This is the best channel for analysis. Any Mets channel or Mets podcast. It really is. And I'm telling you, you don't have to ask me. I'll just tell you. Well, thank you for watching this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut, and I'll see you later.